everybody, welcome back. My name is Margaret and you're on my channel. This is BookTube. So today I'm doing another AuthorTube video and another filming setup. We continue to experiment. So two categories that went out in the poll were Research Rabbit Hole, which you already saw, and Other Media. Other media meaning what influences what I choose to write about in books and what I put in them for detail. And of course, I love singing. I am a singing person. If you didn't know this about me, well, that's because you're an internet friend. So maybe we'll fix that when the pandemic is over. I loved karaoke, and I think that song is a part of people throughout the ages, and so I really love to use it in historical fiction. Of course, I can't sing from the pages, but what I can do is take pieces of songs that existed then, or words that existed then, put them in people's mouths so that you can be exposed to a little bit different rhythm or language. So here are some resources that I've used to do that in my novels. I started off with this. I thought I lucked out when I found traditional British ballads. Unfortunately, there's only one sticker in there, Get Up and Bar the Door. A lot of these are ribald or nursery rhymey or sailory or wooing. Yeah, so interesting, but none of them really hit anything on the nose, so I haven't used any of the ones in there. Then we've got Ora Nan Gael, which is Gaelic songs. I found this when I was, oh look, you've got a shadow of a tail up there. That's Bean. Bean wants to be in the video. This is a lot of songs about the history of the Gaels, the dispersal of the Gaels, Forest of the Red Stags, Men Who Will Be Going Up Over the Pass. There was a time, I want to say 1880s was the high period, where British people would go collect the folklore of the hinterlands where other languages were spoken before it died out. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound like I've been reading Trace by Laurette Savoy, and she eviscerates the legacy of Schoolcraft, who was an Indian agent in the Great Lakes region around the 1830s, 1840s, I guess. And anyway, that's a tangent. Other media. How I find songs. Anyway, so they would send British people to collect the songs, and that's how we have a lot of surviving examples of folklore in Skye and Mull and the Outer Hebrides as well. So these were really valuable for getting a sense of how people were homesick when they emigrated and what sort of themes spoke home to them. You know, like it wasn't mom and apple pie like for us Americans, but it was other things, right? Let's see. It is my hope to go over to the land of the milk cows and their pasture, to the forest of the red stags and the keeperless hinds, where often I pursued them. So they're talking about things that we no longer have in our daily lives, and so that's sort of what I drop into to give my books a feel of a different time and place. And and then the other thing is the rhythm. So there's one famous one. I rose early on a May morning. There's sort of a thing, I call it a walking song, but it's not only a walking song. I think you can do it doing lots of chores, but let's just call them chore songs. Whenever you were doing something repetitive, there was a style of song that would suit that task. So you would have something that was like a call and repeat, and you'd have some nonsense line like fi-ye-yo-yo, fi-ye-yo-yo, right? And you just repeat that while you listen to the person calling. Kind of like a coxswain on a rowboat. A rowboat? Okay, the crew people are gonna yell at me for that one, but you know, there's one person whose job it is to coordinate, and then everyone else like keeps the rhythm as they do their job. Joyfully, that remains to be seen. So that was a good resource. This one I thought was really cool. Selections from Carmina Gadelica. This is one of those collections that people took when the vestiges of oral memory started failing because people were scattering, dispersing, emigrating, and assimilating and losing their language. Songs of the Isles, I got this early on and used one of these for a poem that someone speaks at a funeral, because this is how Gaels interpreted their religious texts. It's a lot about ritual. If I had to draw from my Catholic experience, it would be like, oh, I don't know, that may be too much of a reach. If you had texts that accompanied the Bible that were like some saints' lessons to their flock or their admirers, that this is how you should live, it's kind of like that. It was like something to pair with the Bible, and so they kept this very near and dear and was very inspiring for the keening. Then I found, did I find this? Did someone give this to me? I think this was my mom's, and I took this. This was in my mom's stack, maybe, and she never used it, singing in Irish Gaelic. I'm not sure how I got this. Phonetic approach to singing in the Irish language. And of course, this is Irish, not Scots Gaelic. So it's Sean-Nós singing, which I have some CDs of as well, because I have a good friend who has a Sean-Nós band. But this will give you a sense of how it sounded, what the rhythm was. It has music. Vermio. Oh, I love this song. Vermio rovano, vermio rovani, vermio ro, tame pronox tui me. That could be wrong, but it's something like that, because I don't sight read. But yes, there are two cultures that are very close in terms of expression and language. And then finally, I found this when I went to Islay in 2018, and this is Gaelic Songs of Islay. So it's very specific. It's much more modern. It's very better produced. It's not like an antique found in a used bookstore. And they have the translation. So it was like perfect. I haven't used this for any of my books, I think, even though there's a song in here called Fair Sheena. But this was just more background research, talking about what did people consider a wooing song, for example. Flower of the girls, fair Sheena, star of the girls, young and faithful. She is the secret subject of my song, the love of my heart, the beautiful young girl. And they talk about the cattle pasture some more. Anyway, so songs and lyrics and such that I managed to catch a few of on my travels have been very useful in terms of anchors in the text. When I really need something that feels otherworldly and emotional, I feel like music and song do that really well. And even when you don't hear the music, if it's in italics and if it has, you know, changing cadence on each line, you get the feeling that it's rocking you, that it's something greater than yourself. I found that to communicate a lot better than I can with a song in English or a poem or something like that. So yes, other media that have influenced and found their way into my books. Thanks for stopping by, and if you have other resources on this line, tell me in the comments, and I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to sing a response video of any of these songs I mentioned, please. Alright, thanks guys. See you in the next video.